introduced as CEO of the Illinois Policy Institute, but that's a 501c3 organization, highly regulated by the IRS. So that is how I was introduced, but I want to let you know that I'm going to talk to you tonight as Citizen John, when I can say anything I want about politics, politicians, or public policy. So I want to get that on the record, representing myself and the liberty movement as an individual. You know, a couple weeks ago, I was in church. I'm the former head of the stewardship board at my church, which is a very wonderful job where you raise money for the church. So I went up to the pulpit to give a little speech about raising money, and I noted to the gathered crowd in the pews that the children's choir had just finished a song. There's this old axiom in show business: never follow an animal act and never follow a children's act. I'm really sorry to say that tonight I'm following a Nobel laureate, former president of Poland, and I'm following one of the most dynamic preachers I've ever seen speak in my life. So how about those guys? How many of you have texted the word join so far? Raise your hand. Okay. How many of you have texted the word freedom so far? Okay, not bad. I think you ought to text freedom again, because it takes money to take down the Leviathan that is the federal government of this country. So while we're sitting here, pull it out, send another $10 to the cause of liberty. I can show for the donors here. I mean, we got to try and get some money in the pot. How many of you are from Illinois? Okay, so I'm going to talk briefly about Illinois, then I want to go on to larger themes. One of the themes of Illinois, frankly, it's a myth, is that Illinois is going to be perpetually a blue state. In fact, I hear too often from too many people who become discouraged and don't want to engage anymore. And the fact that you are all here tonight fully engaged in the liberty movement to see that liberty prevails once again in Illinois and prosperity therefore follows is very, very encouraging. But you are outliers. There are many people who still don't believe that Illinois can turn from blue to purple and then eventually to red. And I'm going to tell you why it's true. How many of you think Cook County dominates statewide Illinois politics? It certainly is true in terms of the people running the show in Springfield, from Mike Madigan, John Cullerton, and Quinn, are all from Cook County. But it is not true in terms of the voters. In 2010, 37% of the vote in the statewide vote for governor came out of Cook County. There's 102 counties in Illinois. 96 counties, the 96 downstate counties, accounted for 38%. So if we did the job from a get out the vote, rallying the troops point of view in 2010, those 96 counties could have canceled out Cook's power. The only reason this state is as blue as it is because those people who are, who are not here tonight, who are not knocking on doors, who are not making phone calls, who are not getting engaged in the fight, did not do their job. The other people that did not do their job in 2010 is the people at the top who should have known better and led. We did not have a ground game in 2010. Turnout in those 96 counties was 47%. Turnout in Cook County was 52%. If turnout had been 50% in those 96 downstate counties, Bill Brady would have won the governorship, would have had 110,000 more votes. He lost by 30,000 votes. And if liberty cannot prevail in the 5 Collier County suburbs, then we are all lost. But we know what the truth is. Liberty will prevail if we fight for it. But it's not enough just to come to events like this. It's the work we do today, tomorrow, next week, next month, and next year in 2013, 2014, and beyond, to turn Illinois from what many people all across this country have written off as a blue, declining state, an economic cesspool of decline and corruption, back to what it should be, which is a state that is rising and once will again become a beacon of liberty and prosperity, not just shining throughout the Midwest, but the whole country. Are you all willing to fight not only through November 6th, but 2013? It takes the right strategy. There are a lot of people, some of you here tonight, that are working right now, have been working for the last 2 years, and will begin working again on November 7th beyond, to put the organizational foundation in place to make sure that whoever runs for office in 2014, that the people who prevail are those who believe in liberty. And that is what tonight is really all about. Because liberty is at risk now more than ever in the history of our country. In fact, a lot of people say we're in a great debate between the progressive paradigm and the liberty paradigm. This is not a debate. This is a fight for the very survival of liberty. The gift that the Founding Fathers gave us, where the individual was sovereign over their own life, and they constructed a government with the Declaration in 1776 and the Constitution in 1787 to protect that individual sovereignty. And what we have seen for the last 100 years, that has accelerated over the last 4 years, is an absolute attack on the individual sovereignty or individual liberty. So this is no debate we are engaged in. This is a fight for our very existential existence as free people. That is what is at stake, and that's why it is so amazing that you are here tonight and are going to fight not only tonight, but beyond tonight. Think about for a minute the two teams, the liberty paradigm versus the progressive paradigm, and who is on those two teams. And think about what the Reverend said earlier when we go through this. On the progressive paradigm, on that team, you have the public employee unions, you have the private sector unions, you have the trial bar who sue business to extract money, sometimes legitimately, but most of the time through abuse of judges and legal system, not. The extreme environmentalists and nonprofits, they get most of their money from government. They all have one thing in common. They organize for common purpose to use the political system to extract wealth and income from the liberty team. And on the liberty team, you have the private sector, people like us. And we are united in one common purpose, to live life, to pursue liberty and happiness. Other than that, we don't have a unifying common purpose except today, because we are in the middle of the Second American Revolution, because we recognize that our sovereignty to pursue life, liberty, and happiness is at risk. And so we don't normally have an organizing kind of common cause except now. And that is why this fight this year is so important. Think about the progressive paradigm and what it does. They make no value on their own. Every one of those people I named, every one of those groups I named, gets its income by extracting it from other people. In fact, if you think about it, if there was no private sector, none of the people in the progressive paradigm would exist. They all feed off the work of others. This is what the amazing outrage is. And as long as we have a prosperous society and things are going well, we're an extremely tolerant and accepting people. But not anymore. Not today. And that's why it is so exciting to see what's going on in the country. And it's so fun to watch the other side in a complete meltdown and panic. How many of you have been enjoying Christmas? The single up the leg moment is long, long gone. And it was very, very enjoyable to watch him having a little bit of a meltdown. But think for a moment about what the progressive paradigm is really all about. It's a concept of drawing ever more people into perpetual dependency on the government for their food, their shelter, their clothing, their education, and now their health care. They create what I call a dependency ceiling. You limit someone's upside potential by being dependent on government, while you might get some security for your family and for yourself. What you give up is the very essence of freedom in the human spirit. That is what is immoral about the progressive paradigm. To draw people purposefully into government dependency is an immoral cause, even if there are good intentions behind it. And we must call it what it is. It is immoral. Think about the class warfare that they have launched against people who do well in this country. The top 1% earn 17% of the income. They pay 37% of the taxes, and today they are an enemy of the state and vilified by this president and his progressive allies. But think about who the 1% are. They are people who start out usually as an entrepreneur, who has a dream, an inspiration, and he might find his own money and find other investors, and then hire workers and provide good, well-paying work for people who just want to pursue their own dream. And together they do something amazing. They create a business in a free enterprise system founded in liberty. And they become successful by doing something that is amazing, serving other people well. That is the essence of the free market and capitalism, serving other people well. And everybody, Democrat and Republican alike, they love these people when they're in the basement, mortgaged to the hilt, wondering if they're ever going to be able to make that next month mortgage payment, wondering if they're going to make that next payroll. But God forbid they make it from the basement all the way to the penthouse, and now they are an enemy of the people. We used to champion the Horatio Alger stories, and today in school they don't even know who Horatio Alger is or what he represents about American exceptionalism. This is immoral. We must call it what it is, which is bigotry of the 1%. We must stop it. We must not accept it. Think about what the liberty paradigm really is. The liberty paradigm is a very, very simple idea. Pursue your dreams as you see fit, causing no harm to others. This is what the founders understood. The progressive paradigm wants to empower government over people. The liberty paradigm wants to empower people to pursue their dreams. This is the essence. This is the difference. And we can win these fights not only this year, in the years to come, if we remember something that is very simple and a very important truth about America's founding and what makes us different, is that we know that that liberty is not only the best way to organize society in keeping with the founding principles, but liberty is the best way to help the poor and disadvantaged. Liberty, empowering people to pursue their dreams instead of empowering government over people. Liberty is the way you help the poor and disadvantaged, not by drawing people into a cycle of dependency that creates a dependency ceiling. We must remember that the fight we have today and the fight we will have tomorrow and the fight we will have in 2013 is to empower people. This is our moral high ground. And this is one thing I think that we all have to take to the streets when we're knocking on doors, when we're talking across the back fence, when you're at a cocktail party. You must not let the other side put you on your heels. You must seize the moral high ground in the arguments of the day. Please do. What the progressives do is they find somebody who's suffering, who's got a bad hand dealt to them, and they are trying to move. And they entice them with dependency. What we want to do is empower them with freedom. Think about, for example, just one quick story, and then I will wrap up. But this is an important thing when you talk to your friends. How many of you have felt like you've been on your heels when your progressive friends say you don't care about people, that you want to kick the old lady to the curb, that you don't care about the elderly? How many of you had that happen in your life? Every time they do that, remember, they've sold an idea of victimization. When you think of who their victim is, think about how they can be the hero of a liberty story. Take gas prices as just one example. The problem with our movement sometimes is we pick the wrong heroes. When we talk about gas prices, we talk about drilling in Anwar and offshore and fracking and all the amazing things that entrepreneurs are doing all over this country to create a wealth of natural resources. They're great. They are heroes. But that's not how we tell the story. The way we tell the story is about the single mom sitting in a car with a grocery list in her hand. And she's going to go grocery shopping after she fills up her tank. She's got 2 kids in the back seat. Life is pretty tough for her. And gas is $4 a gallon. When she puts that thing in there to pump her tank full of gas, when this president came into office, it was $1.87 a gallon. It used to cost her $40, but now those dials, you've all seen those dials, they roll right on past 40. They go to 42, 43, 45, 50, 55, and $60. 3 times a month as she drives to 1 or 2 jobs. She crosses items off her grocery list because this government, this president, is empowering the EPA and government over her. She's our hero. When you have those discussions, you tell the story of that single mom at the gas pump and how President Obama and progressive policies are making her life harder because he's empowering the EPA instead of setting that woman free to pursue her dreams. Take those stories. I'll close with just a final thought that is why I do this. I spent most of my life in business. And I got involved in public policy because there's just an amazing, I think America is a miracle. No matter who you are, no matter where you come from, you can come to this country with a little bit of luck and a lot of hard work, and you can make that American dream come true. Whether you ever become part of the 1%, just the game of having a chance to pursue your dream is so fulfilling. And this doesn't happen anywhere else in the world. And that's why we have to fight to make sure that liberty prevails. Because we know that when liberty prevails, prosperity surely follows. And not just prosperity of the material kind, but that's good and necessary. But the key is prosperity of the human spirit. That is what the founders meant when they talked about life, liberty, and prosperity. Thank you so much.